The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
What is up, everybody? Dan DeSilva here. Welcome to the first IMA Bootcamp. I'm super excited to have everybody here. If you can right now, give me a 1 in the chat box if the audio sounds crisp. So let me see the chat box right now, if anybody can even hear me or, I don't know, anything at this point. Okay, cool. Perfect. Julian, David, Natalie, Pete, Sandra, Debbie, Ray. Cool. Joaquim. Glad to have you guys here. Now, give me a 2 if you guys can actually see Anthony's screen right now, and then give me a 3 if you can see, hear, and pretty much see Anthony and myself as well. So 3 if you can all around see my camera, you can see my face, Anthony's face, you can see our screen, everything. So cool. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're just stress testing this before we go 100% live, just to make sure that obviously everything's working as it should be. So with that being said, today what we're going to be doing is we're really going to go ahead and start covering a lot of question and answers that a lot of people have been asking about influencers and really how to tap in and dive deeper into influencers as well. So throughout this entire type of workshop series that we're going to be doing, obviously we're going to keep doing this weekly. What we're doing over here is really going over a lot of the fundamentals and then really diving in deeper as well into the influencer model. So with that being said, what you have to keep in mind is that we're going to be going through a slow progression because everybody learns at their own different pace. Everybody likes to learn, pretty much at their own pace, essentially. So with that being said, Anthony, I'm going to kind of like turn this over to you right now. For those of you that are, interested in what Anthony has to say, listen up because it's really important. So,
all right. All right. Can everybody hear me? Can I get a 1 in the chat box if you can hear me clearly?
Cool. So, Anthony, if you look on the side, you see where it says questions?
Yep.
Click on the questions. You'll see all the ones and whatnot.
Yep, I see it.
Cool.
What's up, Julian? I was talking to you earlier. How are you? Cool. Michelle, Sandra, Pete, what's going on, everybody? Glad you're all in here. David, what's going on? I was actually going to talk about you a bit today and how we dove into your niche on our call earlier last week. All right, awesome. So I'm going to take you guys into the presentation here. And thanks for taking the time out of your day to be with us today. I'm super excited to go over some stuff. But today I really wanted to focus on you guys because that's what's most important. I want to hear exactly what you guys want to go over. So at the end, we're going to be doing a lot of Q&A so you guys could really start topics of conversation. And then it's just going to be complete new things that we could dive into on this call right now. But before that, I want to go over just some other things that we have in the works, just stuff that we've been studying, researching, and stuff I'm going to share with all of you that I think is going to be super helpful. So I'm going to get into my presentation now, and my first slide out of all of them, I want to say congrats to you guys on some hard work. Look at these results. I mean, this is totally astounding. I mean, look at Rolf, Gail, Gregory, and David. You're just a few of many that are absolutely crushing it. Gregory just did over $260 in that one last day with influencers. Rolf is absolutely crushing it. As you can see, David was able to tap into his audience and grow his followers to over 3,000 in just 2 days, and I'm well aware that I'm sure he's even way over that now. Gail's crushing it in sales. Rolf, Greg, and so many others. Julian, you just made your first sale today. Messaged me. That was awesome. I know you've been working hard. I've been working with you side by side in Facebook Messenger and whatnot, and we've really been crushing it. You're absolutely killing it right now. So congratulations, man. The hard work's paying off, and we're just going to start scaling that up now. So I just want to say congrats to you guys and for really doing such great work and being so dedicated because it's just super gratifying to see how you guys are thriving. And I just want to help you guys here, and then let's start scaling it up and keep growing even more. So with that being said, we're going to go to remember to check weekly content. This is where I'm going to be posting new videos. We have the installing themes video, the free plus shipping and upsells video, the finding the right influencers video, and creating and finding social media content. We're going to be cranking out videos for you guys pretty much every week and keeping you updated. If you don't want to leave you hanging, if you have any video requests, definitely throw them in the Facebook Mastermind or email us personally. Definitely wouldn't be opposed to creating anything by all means if you guys need help anywhere.
Anthony,
If you
let me just
find the
kind of get in on this one that you're talking about, this topic in particular. Guys, this is more so, and this is something that not a lot of people do. It's kind of, a lot of courses are kind of just set, done, and then that's pretty much it. What we do is we like to cater the content around. That's kind of what IMA is based off of, is we're catering a lot of our content around what you need to learn, especially when stuff is moving fast. Platforms are always being updated. Every single month, every single week, pretty much every single day, they're rolling out something new. Sometimes it's very, very minuscule. Sometimes it's on a grand scale, right? But what we like to do is we really like to go ahead and cater everything. So if there's questions that you have, that is not just a simple typing response, right? Anthony's going to go ahead and he's going to give you the response that you're looking for. I myself, if I have the response, Anthony isn't available, I'll go ahead and make the video. So you have to just keep in mind that it's not, it's not like one of those, we're going to drop everything and every single time. But if it's something that is very, very pressing, a lot of people have questions about it, we're going to make a video on it. We're going to cover it in depth. We're going to go ahead and make sure you're covered. So with that being said, take advantage of that. Not a lot of courses do that. Actually, the only other course I know that does that is around $8,000. So with that being said, you guys did not have to pay $8,000 to get in here, even though we could have easily charged that. But again, just keep in mind, take advantage of that while we offer it, while we're going to continue to build up IMA. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, and that's a really great point, Anthony, that a lot of people need to make sure you're taking very, very full advantage of that. All right, so go ahead.
And also, I absolutely love that everyone's bouncing ideas off one another and working with one another in the mastermind. I just want to say congratulations on that as well, because you guys are killing it. I mean, we're working together here and we're building a really close, tight-knit community, and I think it's amazing about how much information and content we could all share with one another. There's so much knowledge. And being in the same space as people with like minds and really just driving forward and trying to all build businesses together, I think it's something that's absolutely impressive. And I just want to say thanks to you guys on that for really coming together. And I'm super excited to get into this today because I want to show you guys personally and really just have you guys hit me with questions wherever we can go and take this conversation, try to help everyone as much as possible. So I want to get into this presentation a little bit more, and I want to talk about finding influencers and actually how easy it is, because I saw that some people were still struggling with how to find them exactly, and I think that you cannot overlook something as simple as a search engine. Like if you just go into Google and you type in, for example, just utilize your keywords here. I mean, if you're in the bull terrier niche, like David, who I was working with the other day, you could just type in bull terrier Instagrammer, and then you could try to go there, and then maybe there'll be a blog post from a certain site, and they'll say the top 25 bull terrier Instagrammers, and then you can go there, and then you could dive into that, and it's just going and digging further into what you find. So then let's say you go into that bull terrier page, for example, and you find their Instagram page, but maybe they aren't an influencer, maybe they're just not doing featured posts, but they're just a big bull terrier page. There's no reason to just leave that as a loss, because we have the related pages feature, which I'm going to go over in Instagram, and which is super awesome because they just started to feature that on the desktop version. And it's going to really help you to dive into related pages and make it a lot easier to find these big pages that are in the same space as the ones you've already found if they're not fit for you and your page. So I want to go into that and show you guys exactly how important it is. So we got to focus on keywords, and we have to focus on looking to the related pages on Instagram. So if you guys can see my screen, can I just get a 2 in the chat box right now? Let's go over here to Instagram.
Yeah, it's a really good point that you made. Search engines. A lot of people don't utilize search engines. I don't know why. I'm going to quickly grab the screen before you go into your presentation. I'm just going to do this really quick. Just share my screen. All right, Anthony, can you see my screen?
Yep, I can.
Cool. So guys, if you go on Google, right, what you can do to quickly find influencers right away is do dog plus and in quotes put Instagram.com. All right. So you can do this pretty much with any niche that you want. But for example, we'll go ahead and search Instagram, and it'll also see what has dog in the name as well. We're talking the title and the URL, which is pretty cool. Some of them don't actually appear. Like, for example, Juniper Fox. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, so this is a dog. So Google understands, oh, well, it's a fox. It looked like a dog, okay? So essentially, it's related, all right? You have to keep that in mind. It's related. As you can tell, business over here, Teespring, they're promoting their own print-on-demand shirt, etc. So with that being said, this is a way for you to go ahead and shortcut the finding process of other influencers as well. And again, utilizing what Anthony's about to show you is another great way to go ahead and essentially find influencers. So I'm going to toss back the screen.
Yep. All right. So where are we here? All right. So on Instagram. So finding these influencers. Now where was I? So let's say that we were just looking for. All right. You know what? Let's go back to search engine. Let's go to Google. And now, where was it? All right, so we're gonna go. Let's just someone throw a niche inside of the chat box. I want to use someone for an example. Let's make this useful. I don't want to just pick something random where I'm not going to use it. So if someone wants to throw their niche personally, feel free to put that in the chat box, and we could work off of that. All right, let's go with. Yeah, you see anything you like?
About to look right now. I mean, I kind of like all the. I see something here a lot of times, and I have to call this out, right? Fashion is like a category, and I see this so often, right? It's almost like when somebody's like, what niche are you in? Oh, I'm in the fashion niche. No, it's either an industry or category. It's labeled that way. A niche is like dogs. Well, not really. Even dogs is technically a category because you can still niche down into dogs. For example, pugs, pit bulls, chihuahuas, etc. Now, if you say fashion, right? Anthony knows a lot about fashion. Anthony, what inside of fashion can you niche down inside of? Fashion actually can be niched down all the way down to babies, to rompers, to like, I don't know, shortcut rompers, if that even exists.
I mean, yeah, it's really like just a huge like abyss that you're diving into if you want to say like fashion is your niche, because it's just like never ending. I mean, that's like saying jewelry is a niche. Like, I mean, everyone wears clothes, everyone wears jewelry. It's just like you have to dive into something specific. So if you were into fashion, let's say you were into a certain type of pants, maybe a certain type of sweatpants, or you want to get into a certain cut of sweatpants, because there's so many different varieties under that like huge category that you're talking about when it comes to fashion. And also, in many senses, fashion is relative. I mean, it really depends who you're talking about, interest, culture. I mean, it really varies around from person to person. And that's why I think fashion is, it's very profitable, huge industry. But if you do want to niche down and focus on what you're doing, which is going to be much more easier to target, not saying that you can't do anything with a general fashion store. It absolutely can happen. It's just a bit more difficult to target and set your focus and build that brand like we are doing online with e-commerce.
So let's go with, because I know one of the biggest that everybody always asks is we have the weight loss niche, the weight loss category, right? So how do you go deeper? You can go into bodybuilding, you can go into CrossFit, you can go into gosh knows who knows what else you can go into. But let's go with CrossFit, because CrossFit is very niche down. It's a very, very passionate audience. CrossFit's all blowing up, so let's just see CrossFit and see what we can get. So yeah, let's just dive into it. Why not?
Let's do CrossFit Instagrammers and see what pops up. All right, 16 most inspiring CrossFit athletes on Instagram. This is what I'm talking about here. So it's like these little blog posts that people just list, like these hot Instagrammers and whatnot that are really just like catching fire inside of the space. So as you can see, you got the full-on list, and it's usually going to be able to take you right to their Instagram page. So here we have Sam Briggs, fittest on earth and 2013 CrossFit Games champion. All right, so Matt Frazier. So we have this whole list of people that do CrossFit, and it's really like the biggest in the game right now. As you can see, here's Lauren Fisher, 315,000 followers from whenever this picture was taken. Could have been up now. You know what? Let's take a look right now and see where she's at. Oh, no, not working. So what's her at name? Lauren Fisher. We can just go to Instagram.com/Lauren Fisher.
See, if you weren't using Safari, this would be a lot more faster.
All right, so here she is. So look, last time we saw this page, it was at 300,000 followers. I mean, I think that that blog post is like a year or two old, but I mean, if you look at that, she's doubled her follower count. So, absolutely huge. Clearly, still inside of CrossFit, and I mean, this is someone that's absolutely huge in the whole CrossFit space. So, if you were going to use something like that, I think it would be super, super effective. Actually, I don't have the related pages tab here because I'm not logged in, but I can definitely do that and then be able to use that part of the related pages. So let's look at some of the other ones over here. So Mark Smith, Mark Adaptive Athlete. Let's see if this works this time. Yep, there we go. All right. So again, only 1,000 followers, so maybe he must have changed things up. I don't see where he had a huge following, but
Yeah,
he
it doesn't look
there.
like he's like prevalent in the CrossFit industry. He might have just been,
Yeah.
by association with somebody.
But I mean, someone with this follower count, I think, could still very well be an asset to anyone because, I mean, if we're just starting out, not to say that only having 1,000 followers is bad for someone in the space, but I mean, when you're starting out, really, they don't have that much pull. Like, they can't really say, all right, well, I want $1,000 for my featured post.
Right.
You could use this person for a free shout-out, give them a free sample, something to really just entice them and really build your footprint inside of your niche. Because if Mark Smith is someone that's big in CrossFit, there's going to be other people that are following Mark Smith and then that are also big in CrossFit, and they're going to see your posts and people are interested. It's just, the brand awareness can be built from people just like seeing it, just crossing their eyes, and it's something that they're going to remember from following this person. So you can go over here to Lauren Fisher. Let me, Dan, do you mind taking the screen for a second?
Sure. Just go and take the screen from you. You can also always go ahead and, if you need to move around the screen, you can easily go ahead and turn off the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something you always could do. This is a pretty interesting shirt, honestly. I don't think this is gonna have like mass appeal. I was just looking around and seeing exactly who else. So I was just going through a bunch of pages on here, and guys, it turns out that there's a pretty damn big fox community on Instagram. When people eat their foxes, so I just found this pretty interesting because who doesn't want a fox? I mean, everybody.
It's adorable.
I know. Tell me when you want the screen back. But yeah, I just started going around here and started noticing that there's a niche that I can literally just tap into about foxes. I mean,
yeah, I'll take it back whenever you're ready.
All right, this is pretty interesting. So anybody who's looking to tap into a niche, just look into foxes. I'm currently, as Anthony's presenting, I'm just going through a bunch of pages and looking at what people have. So yeah, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm talking to my support staff and going ahead and looking through all these different pages of foxes that I didn't even know existed until I ran a search for dogs. Crazy enough.
All right, so I logged in, and over here we could see now I can drop down here and have all these suggested pages or the related pages that I was talking about inside of the presentation. So as you can see, we just have pages upon pages that are all related to Lauren Fisher that are most likely have to do with CrossFit and or fitness. So let's poke around here and see if we can find something that would be useful to us. So CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. All right, so as we can see, we have all this. All right, so this seems to be like a bunch of people inside of CrossFit that run this page. So now I'm not sure if they're doing any featured posts here, but it would never hurt to inquire because if they were, this could be a good audience if we did have CrossFit products or fitness, like let's say T-shirts, that they would be really interested in. And this is something that we can easily present to them. And it's clearly just something that we stumbled upon by using the related pages after finding Lauren Fisher. So as you can see, just doing a little bit of digging after we do start out and let's say really source off of somewhere like Google, we could expand off that as long as we just keep digging because there's so much to be found under these the related page tab. And as you can see, we can just keep scrolling through pages. Just trying to find like a general page influencer. So like something like CrossFit Daily or CrossFit Lovers Instagram, something along those lines. So CrossFit Lovers, let's see what we have here. All right, so it seems to be an event that they have. So I'm not familiar with CrossFit, but anyways, as you can see, that is a huge thing that we could start using just by diving through Google and finding things that way. So anyways,
here's the thing with CrossFit. Yeah. I know a little bit about CrossFit because I try to dive into the niche. And let me tell you something. The problem with influencers in CrossFit is a lot of the influencers are brands. So think of like the Nike for CrossFit. It's going to be so hard for anybody to go ahead and advertise you. However, a lot of these brands are popular gyms and popular events, so your quote-unquote CrossFit brand can be sponsored. Same type if you're using a different business model with a different strategy or the same strategy, right? Say you're trying to go into a market that has really big brands in there. What you can do is you can create something for these really big brands to go ahead and utilize. So this is something you have to keep in the back of your mind as well, is that you can still tap into a lot of these companies. It's how you position what you're selling and your brand as well, all right? So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, sponsorship is actually something that I talked about inside of the course. And I think that it's definitely something huge, and something like CrossFit or fitness. It's totally something that could work in leaps and bounds for you and your business, and helping people grow. So with that being said, I want to keep on getting into the keynote here. And now when we are building our social media pages, I want to give you an example from David Popovich. I don't know if he's on this call or not right now. If not, he's probably going to see this recording. And this is when they start to approach you. So as you can see, David built his follower count to over 3,000 in just 2 days, as we can see. This is August 31st. I haven't checked in to get an exact follower count from him, but I know he's still growing since August 31st. But still, this is right after he began the course, and he went from 200 followers to over 3,000 in 2 days. And inside of the case study is really a good way to find how to build that organic traffic through one of my previous students. He goes over some certain ways what he did with his pug store to get well over 10,000 followers. But what I wanted to focus on and emphasize on is that they will come to you. I mean, David just one example of them coming out to him and proving that you can be reached out to by these influencers once you start building your brand footprint. So let's say you do have an influencer campaign and it's inside of your specific niche and you don't do so well in sales. Do not be down on it, because you are building brand awareness. That is like the worst case scenario. If you do spend $30, $40 on a campaign and it doesn't go so well, you don't hit a lot of sales, you're still building brand awareness. Like, there's really nothing lost there. Yes, you didn't make your ROI exactly yet, but I mean, in essence, you kind of are by really building your brand awareness. It's something that you can't really put a price on, with people interested in your brand and people inside of that brand really seeing your product, and including other influencers that are connected with these other influencers in the very same niche. So we want to make sure that we're building our social media pages. And I actually just put up a video on how to create social media content and how to find social media content to create inside of the IMA Weekly tab, which I think is going to be super helpful and definitely should be utilized by everyone if you're struggling to find content to put out onto your page. I'm also going to touch on a little bit of that inside of this very keynote and tell you guys a bit more about it, because I want to emphasize on how important it is, so that we could really circle around and try to get what David is having happen to him, with influencers reaching out to him and then utilizing them. Because once they are reaching out to you, really the ball's in your court. So you could really start picking and choosing, really start negotiating prices, because you do have the upper hand if these influencers are really coming out to you and it's someone that they desire to promote.
So really quickly, before you go ahead and continue on, I was asked to explain something a little bit more. So Lindsay asked me to explain something. So I'm going to take the screen from you for a second and really dive into this a little bit more in depth. So here's what I want you guys to keep in mind. Let's go back to the CrossFit, right? Because this is probably the best way for me to go ahead and show you. So if you have pages, right, where you go ahead and you type in, just say CrossFit is my example, right? You see CrossFit, CrossFit Games, CrossFit Training, right? These are all like verified type of pages, which means that they're an actual brand. They have some type of really strong community following them. And essentially they are, I don't want to say a lot of people are paying for their stuff, like CrossFit. Nobody's paying for CrossFit. What I can tell you is essentially that they are pretty harder to tap into. So essentially what you would do is I'd take a page just like CrossFit, right? What I would do here is think of it as like levels, right? So let me see if I can, do I even have Paint Online? Paint Online. Because I'm going to draw out something for you guys, right? So just so you can clearly understand what I kind of want to do over here. All right, so let me go over here. So now we have a terrible looking, as a matter of fact, let's erase this. Okay, I want to do it the other way around, right? So just bear with me, because I want to show you exactly what I'm trying to talk about. So let's go over here. All right, so you have your bottom level. Oh gosh, this is going to be terrible. You have your bottom level. All right, so here's a little triangle. We cut it up. All right, this is the worst depiction ever. But you have your level 1. All right, so my level 1, in my case, would actually be CrossFit. Now, the CrossFit, let me go back over here. The CrossFit page is very broad. It's super hard for me to target. Now, a lot of people, depending how far you niche down, you can actually go ahead and target and pay for ads on level 1. Level 1 is ideal, okay? This is pretty much exactly where you want to be at all given times. So I'm going to put a check mark on level 1. If you can get onto level 1, you're golden. However, the best thing you can do is go ahead and look for a level 2 if you can't go ahead and advertise on the first page. But how do you find that? Well, rather than clicking down, which you can do as well, as you see Rogue Fitness, CrossFit Games, again, a lot of powerful people on here, what you're going to do is go through their posts, all right? So CrossFit via this guy, all right? And then this person right here, all right? Let's keep going. So they're constantly tagging influencers, right? Vox.com, 50,000 views, all right? This is really good. So clearly it's telling me that people can pay for shout-outs on here. All right, so what I'm going to do here is just keep on going and clicking all of these, right? And after this, I'm going to start going and taking a look. 1,619 followers. Okay, fair enough. Not that many. Not too much to put emphasis on it. However, if you're in the CrossFit niche, starting off and getting people like this onto a brand that you're getting and creating can lead into something big. Because you don't ever know what type of potential a person has, right? So, for example, if somebody said to you, "Oh yeah," if somebody went to this person, Jay Alvarez, right? Somebody went to this person, right? I'd say 2-3 years ago, and be like, "No, I'm not going to let you wear my brand." Now, what happened? Well, now people are going to him every single day. You have companies like Calvin Klein and whatnot. He's built up such a strong and very lucrative following, a fan base, that years ago, basically nobody would want to work with him, and now everybody's trying to get after him. So what I'm saying is a lot of those companies who didn't want to work with him in the beginning now realize, wait a minute, this guy had a lot of potential. So when somebody says, oh, there's only 1,000, 2,800 people following, it doesn't really matter. A lot of people have potential. If the deal is good, you take the deal, period, because you can tap into a brand new audience you couldn't have hit before, right? So it's pretty much like anything. If you're trying to reach a brand new audience, the best way for you to go ahead and is try to find either a really big page for you to shortcut, or what you can do the other way is literally get 10, 20, 30 different people with micro followings, and it kind of equals to the same thing, right? Do you guys understand that?
That's what Fritz did to start out.
Did you guys give me a 1 right now if you guys understand this in the chat box, right? So rather than going right for the big fish, if you don't have the budget and whatnot, what you can do is you can start off with individual people, just like this right here, right? CrossFit Vero Beach. Then you have way too small for me. I wouldn't even consider it, honestly. Vox is a pretty big brand. Over here, another CrossFit junkie. Let's see, CrossFit as well. So I'd literally go ahead and start targeting all these people. All right, just go out there and be like, hey, look, can you help me build my brand? This is my brand, etc. And you go ahead and try to strike a deal with them. Like I said, if the deal is good, right? If the deal fits, take it. I don't care if they have 800 followers, 2,000 followers, 2 million followers. If the deal is promising, then you should go ahead and take the deal, period. Because it's all about your bottom line at this point, right? So you have to keep in the back of your mind that, yeah, they might have 2,000, 3,000 followers, but if you think about it, they might be able to hit 200, 300 new people per post that you potentially couldn't have hit on your own before. But if you have 30, 40, 50 of those people doing it for $10, right, you can potentially reach the same amount of people as you could hitting a 1 million person page, right? So again, not only that, but you're also going to be known by them, by this person longer term, and then they can have what I call the Jay Alvarez effect, where Jay started with nothing and ended up at 4.5 million followers. He has a 7-figure business, multiple 7-figure businesses now, all because of the fact that he grew and kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. And companies who kind of blew him off, they were just like, yeah, we don't want you anymore. Now he's like, yeah, I don't need you guys anymore, right? So again, keep that in mind. But the companies that saw potential in him in the beginning, he's like, let's do stuff, right? So just think about how powerful that is, having somebody with millions of followers. You see them grow from nothing to this huge person, right? So that's something you have to keep in the back of your mind as well, is the long-term sustainability of these people. You never know what, for example, CrossFit 818 can become. You don't know if they can become the biggest CrossFit brand in the world. You don't know if Joe Han can become the biggest CrossFit endorser in the world. You'll never know. But what I do know is that you can tap into what they're already building, their current audience. Because here's the thing, right? And this is something you have to realize. Your niche, the people in your niche, the micro following in your niche, these people, more than likely out of 1,121 followers, I'd say at least 800 people that follow him enjoy CrossFit. All right? Why? Because typically people surround themselves in the same group of people. So that means if he gets sponsored by your CrossFit brand or your bracelet brand for CrossFit people, right? What happens here is, well, essentially other people start being interested. They're like, he got sponsored. Let's see what they're all about. And they think that's really cool. They support your brand because this person's sponsored. So there's a lot more that goes into this than just the simple sponsoring of a smaller person, right? You can have a huge potential for this person to become, astronomically huge inside of that certain niche that you're going into. And luckily for you, you worked out a deal with him, etc. So think bigger, all right? So Julian's right. Yeah, think bigger. He sees it. It's exactly it. You have to really think longer term. It's a longer term strategy. Now, will this work for everybody? No. Honestly, you can probably see less than a 1% success rate for everybody. But here's the thing. It's all about the volume at that point. I'd rather have 50 to 100 people supporting my brand than I would just having one major person relying on one major person. If you really want to know what type of brand did this well to become over $10 million per year, take a look at Shreds. All right. Now, if you go and take a look at Shreds, hashtag Shreds, what I'm going to do is just go hashtag Shreds. All right. Shreds Army. That's what we need right here. Shreds Army. Top posts. These people go ahead and post about Shreds. Right? Now, look at how many likes they get, guys. They're literally posting about a brand. Shreds is a brand. 4,000 likes. 1,000 likes. 4,000.
And the thing about this is that they built like a cult following, like a literal just community around their brand. And not only is that like so impressive with the volume of the amount of people that they have, but the loyalty to the brand itself. So like when you do have that, let's say, for example, 30 smaller pages, you're going to value those 800 high probability customers rather than those 10,000 unlikely customers that you're going to have when you're reaching out to people to promote your page. So that's why, even though it is smaller, it's not all about the numbers, because if the influencer doesn't have the capability to make their audience take action, it's really no point, and there's really no influence at all. So you want to make sure that you are getting these people that it's really going to hit really just a strong point for them to want to come and purchase your product.
Exactly. And I want to turn the screen back over to you. That's pretty much all I had to say.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, everybody understand that? Give me a 2 if you guys completely understand exactly the bigger picture right now. This is kind of some insider stuff right here. Cool. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Go ahead, Andy.
Right, so going off of where we left off, saying that they will in fact come to you, and now something that I want to talk about when you are trying to get these people attention. So let's say you do have those 30 small influencers, and working off what Dan was saying, a great way to do it is with free plus shipping. So this is really just a perceived free product from people, from your store to people. And as we can see, here's Greg from the Influencer Marketing Academy. And he posted this in the group. If you didn't see it yourself, he did over $2,000 in revenue from this free plus shipping campaign. And now this is something that's going to be really, really big, because he only did this with Facebook ads, but you're going to be able to increase your brand footprint and get a bunch of leads for people that could be potential buyers for you through these Instagram influencers, because it's so simple for them to just post a small picture showing exactly what you're offering, and also being straight to the point, saying like just pay shipping, for example. It's just short to the point, take action now, lucrative ad copy, and something that's going to get people's attention, because they're really not paying much out of pocket in their own mind. And that's why I think that the free plus shipping model is so huge, because even if they do not check out, you could always hit them with a follow-up email. I remember when I was testing David Popovich's free plus shipping campaign to make sure everything was working. I was inside of the store, and he's inside of the baby niche. But anyways, I went and I tested this product and I added the product to my cart, and I was like, yep, everything works. The shipping rate's correct. I think it's good. Let's do it. Shoot over your ad to your influencer and let's see how it goes. And the funny thing is that day after, I ended up getting an email from David, which was a follow-up email saying, oh, you left this in your cart. And I was like, well, would you look at that? I messaged him showing him because he didn't realize that he actually emailed me. And it's funny because he was able to follow up. And if I was a potential customer, it got my attention. I checked my email. It was right there. And I was like, oh, yeah, I was shopping there. So this is a way to come back with maybe follow up with a discount, something that's going to incentivize them to really get off of the fence and purchase your product. But it's definitely something that you could do. Also, Rolf, he was showing about how many sales he made off his abandoned carts using a cart abandonment app inside of Shopify. And he was able to get a solid, I think it was nearly $800 in sales just from his follow-up emails. So if you do have all of these people coming in to your store through something like free plus shipping campaign, which is super easy to set up and also super easy to get promoted from an influencer, especially if you do pick and choose a few small influencers, start building that little cult following under your brand, I think it is a huge thing to start utilizing. And definitely something that can be super profitable in increasing your brand's footprint. So with your social media growth and really creating this content or creating the layouts for these free plus shipping campaigns, I think that getting pictures from Canva.com, Pixify, Pexels, Unsplash, these are all sites that you could just pay to use their stock pictures, but they're a little bit more than stock pictures. They're really high quality pictures, and that's why you're paying $1 or $2 for each one. But they're super, super presentable and super affordable that you could really give out to your influencers to start using, as well as alongside the pictures that you're going to be getting from your vendors if you don't have cold hard samples of your product in hand. But definitely sending free samples is also another great way to kick off your campaign. So let's say that you do have that little group of smaller influencers that we just went over. You could send them a free sample. Like if your product is only $5 to $10, just take the hit. It's really going to be worth every single penny because you're going to be building that connection with these people that could help grow your brand, and really just by word of mouth and posting about your brand, start sending you sales right away.
Anthony, really, can you do me a favor? Can you scroll back up one to the image? Okay. So something that, go ahead, click it. Okay. Something that I want to just go ahead and point out. This right here, right, is retargeting. Is that right, Gregory? I think it was. Do you recall if it was retargeting or not?
Say that again?
Do you recall if it was retargeting or just straight up Facebook?
I think he said it was just a Facebook ad. I'm not sure if it was retargeting or not.
Okay, yeah, because something that I don't know exactly, because I know in the 100K Blueprint we talked about influencers as well, but we also talked about retargeting with the influencers to build up your initial pixel and then retarget them from Facebook. So that's something as well that we're going to be talking about in another workshop, and something that a lot of people aren't doing. I don't know why. And that's just something that is definitely you're going to have to keep in the back of your mind. So a lot of people, when they see, wait a minute, Facebook and Instagram as well, Facebook at the top, it's because we use a lot of retargeting. You have to realize for every one click that you get on an influencer, you can pretty much manage 3 to 8 clicks with a retargeting ad. Because the whole point of a retargeting ad is to send people to as many ads as you freaking can because it's so cheap. So with that being said, this is something you have to keep in the back of your mind. One click you get from an influencer, one click you get from somebody clicking from Instagram, specifically right to your ad, you can get anywhere from 3 to 8 clicks back with retargeting and literally paying anywhere from 10 to 15 cents per click. So that's something you have to keep in the back of your mind. So go ahead and continue with what you were saying, because I know some people, actually one person said something about Facebook as well. So I just wanted to go ahead and make that very clear, that a lot of people do not utilize retargeting when they should be. Retargeting is the cheapest form of advertising, period. Literally, the highest performing campaigns, and here's something that a lot of people won't ever tell you, is that in the e-commerce space, right, the main goal out of anything you do is to get the retargeting pixel. It's just that simple. I go ahead and I just want massive traffic to anything that I do. That's why I utilize a lot of influencers, is because I want the massive traffic. Even if they don't buy right away on the spot, I know right away I can retarget them to buy again, and then with my post-sale sequence, go ahead and have them purchasing so much different stuff. So with that being said, you have to make sure, okay, that you're retargeting. This is a must, okay? This is 100% a must that I pretty much require anybody to do, and that's something that we're going to have to go over live in the upcoming weeks as well. So go ahead, Anthony, back to you.
All right, thanks, Sam.
Yep.
So yeah, now that we got that covered and made that clear, because I saw Walter had that question why it was all Facebook. We got that all squared away. Sandra, a good upsell app. I like Zipify, one-click upsell. I posted about it in the group. I could also message you about that if you want to message me on Facebook. I could send you the link for that. That's a good upsell app, which will set you up to work off of your free plus shipping and hit them with an upsell before their checkout. So yeah, about the social media growth, there's so many different ways that you can get this content, because I know some people, if they don't have their product in hand, it's a bit of a struggle to get pictures of it and things related. So it's hard to create that content, because you do want to have a solid flow of content on your social media pages and being active, so that people are more inclined to follow you. Gail, you saw the name of the upsell app. It's I think it's one click upsell. It's a Zipify app. There you go. And I posted about it in the Facebook group. If you can't find it, just message me on Facebook. I'll be able to send it to you, and I'll send you the link so that you could find out more about it. Don't be shy on messaging me. I'm always glad to take everyone's messages. So as I was saying, you can get your pictures from these sites right here. If you want to screenshot or write them down, feel free to do that, whatever you'd like. Save them to your bookmarks. But you could also get pictures from your vendors if you weren't aware. If you do have watermark pictures, if you're getting a supply from AliExpress, you could request for them to send you unwatermarked pictures if they do have additional ones. Definitely be working with your vendors, be active, and build that connection so you have a strong connection, so it's easier to work and communicate with them. And also, the more you work with them, never be afraid to try to wiggle down the prices, especially if you're selling in volume. So with that being said, also you're going to want to try to do something with the free samples like we covered with the 30 or so, 20, 10, whatever you want to do, the small group of influencers, and you want to start building this community around your brand. I think it's a great growth hack and a great way to really build that trust and loyalty, which is something that you really can't put a price on, because it's going to have people coming back to you over and over again to repeatedly buy and become loyal to your brand and share your brand. Like you saw what happened with Shreds. They grew month over month. They were literally doubling their gross revenue. And it was just crazy how quick they grew, because they were one of the first people to start really tapping into influencers and building that cult following. Also, with this, you could do giveaways and limited time discounts. So you could do something as simple as post a picture of your product and throw a hashtag on there related to your brand. In a second, we're going to go and start looking into hashtags and how effective they were. Because like right before we got on this call, I was looking at some certain hashtags and seeing what would pop up. And it was funny. I was actually a promoted post. So I want to talk to you guys about that as well. But giveaways and limited time discounts can be a great way to incentivize your audience and people that you're trying to tap into, because it's something that you could put urgency on and create a limited time offer so that these people are going to feel that sense of urgency to go ahead and purchase right away, rather than being lackadaisical on the fence and not really saying, all right, well, there's no reason for me to purchase this product right now. So here's an example of a ad. So this is a personal page, celebrity Scott Disick. And he's promoting Lyft here. So yes, it's not a tangible product, but it is a picture of him, and he was able to slap their banner on the bottom of his page. And not only is he doing that by saying download the Lyft app, he's making them take action and engage with this. So as you can see, he gave them directions to 1, download the Lyft app, 2, like the photo of him, and then 3, tag at least 5 friends to qualify for a $100 giveaway in free Lyft credits by following those steps. And then he also has his code that everyone's going to put in, and then he's going to be referring all of those sales to Lyft, and they're all going to be getting the discount. But as you can see, this is just a seamless way that Scott Disick decided to promote Lyft, and something that was super simple and probably super profitable for the brand, because, I mean, he is just a huge, huge influence in general for all of social media, and something so a brand like Lyft, which really applies to anyone, is super, super effective. And now with that being said, I want to keep going on and telling you on building them on Canva.com. If you guys are familiar with Canva, could you put a 1 in the chat box? I want to see if anyone wants me to go over building an ad, for example, on Canva. So if you want me to build an ad, I would like you to put a 2 in the chat box. If you are familiar with Canva, I'd like to put a 1. I want to get a general consensus and see what everyone is saying. All right, we got some ones, got some twos. All right, a lot of people are familiar with it. So what I'm going to do, since a majority of the people are familiar with Canva, we're going to not go over the shoulder and do that, but I'm going to create a video so that people are familiar themselves, and I could just have you guys watch that. I'm going to be adding it to the IMA Weekly. I'll be making that video shortly. So I'm going to do that to help you guys out. You could just watch that, and then you'll be able to follow those steps in creating an ad in Canva, because it seems like a majority of the people here are pretty familiar with it, which is no problem at all. I mean, it's a pretty big audience we have here. I don't want to be keeping everyone too busy, so I'm going to create that video just for you guys, so you can keep it on the side and you can watch it whenever you like. I'll be creating it this week for sure. I'll give me a day or two, and we'll definitely have that out. So off of that, I wanted to go on to hashtags, and then maybe we could circle back to Canva towards the end during the questions time. So let's go to what I was looking at before. I think it was, I did hashtag cats. All right. All right, so it's gone now, but let me see if I could find it. There's an IMA page. All right, right here, boom. So right before the call, I kept this up because I didn't want to lose it if it did get lost in the top post. But this is just an example of why you should be using hashtags, and why keywords in your ad copy and everything is so important. So here, they didn't even use a hashtag, but their following is so large that it ended up putting them in the top post. So as you can see, they have 24-hour flash sale, 20% off. So that's a very simple looking ad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and I definitely think that it's a good campaign for this page. But as you can see, they claimed it to be a 24-hour flash sale. So they're building that urgency, and then they followed it with a 20% off everything, and they dropped their page, the URL to their store. And it's really just building people the urgency for them to go ahead and buy that soon rather than later, as we discussed earlier before. But here's Nala Cat right here. So this page, 3 million followers. So they have a huge audience right here. And I mean, it's pretty well engaging, 50, 60,000 likes. I don't think it's not up by the 5% range, but for a page this large, can very well like cut them some slack and not say it has to be a 5%. 3 and 4 is also very good. But we could also look in the related pages and try to find an influencer. But my point here is that when you are using these hashtags or you are using these keywords, you do want to utilize it, especially when you're starting out. Definitely use the hashtag, because keywords aren't going to be as effective in ranking you towards the top post, because you don't have that much of a following built up like Nala Cat. But I mean, if you do have 3 million person following, kudos to you. But what you want to do is use these hashtags, because my point is that anyone can come across this and anyone could then click through to your page and find your products. So, I mean, I wasn't even familiar with the Nala Cat page, but you know what? I was doing a little bit of research inside of the cat niche. I just typed in the hashtag cats, and then next thing you know, the first thing that popped up was this 24-hour flash sale. So if this was something that I was passionate about and something I was interested in buying, then their campaign absolutely went perfect, because I just went through it organically. I myself was organic traffic. I didn't go through an influencer or anything like that. So that's why I think that utilizing hashtags is something that is very important and quite frankly underutilized from time to time. It's really just overlooked. What's that, Rob? Rob, can you not see my screen? We get a 1 in the chat box. We could see if you could see my screen, just to make sure. I want to confirm, because Rob said he cannot see my screen right now. Dan, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see your screen, buddy.
Okay, cool. I was about to say I'd be really upset because they didn't get to see this cute cat.
You want
all right.
a cute dog?
All right, cool. Anyways, so we have about 10 minutes left, and I wanted to wrap up with questions. So feel free to ask away. I'm going to really weave through these questions. I know we have a lot of people on here. I'm going to try to get to as many as we can. I want to be super helpful. Whatever you need help with, something that maybe you want me to go over the shoulder with, something that you're struggling with, or really just questioning in general. Sorry, he's reading through these right now. Michelle, do you ever do a video ad post or just a static image? I think that either one is absolutely awesome and definitely profitable. Video ads are definitely eye-catching. I showed you guys inside of the Academy the app Quick, which you could use on your phone. It's super easy. You don't even have to hop on your laptop or computer, and you'd be able to just build this video ad with anywhere from like 2 to 3, 4 pictures, whatever you like, and it'll have dynamic text and sound, which you could definitely use. And it's the best part is it's super easy to build on your phone. It's called Quick. Let me just pull it up for you guys if you're not familiar with it. All right, so here's the app that I use right here. If you guys want to take a screenshot, so on and so forth, whatever you'd like to do, download it now. So you could just build it on your phone. I use it on my iPhone, and I think it's very easy to use. If you have an iPad, whatever you really want to use, you could do that and build that ad pretty much in a few minutes and just do some simple tweaks. There are so many different settings that you could really mess around with inside of the app that could make it super eye-catching. I think it's a great way to reach out to people, and also you could just send that video directly to your influencer, because you could just build it right on your phone and then send it to them through email, Instagram direct message, and just get that over to them. And it's easy because all they have to do is save it to their phone and repost it. Videos is definitely a really good thing to utilize. I would not ignore it because it's something that's going to stand out rather than a static picture. So definitely use Quick. I think it's a good investment and something that is very effective to use. Jay, how much should I charge for shipping? Now that really depends on what you're paying personally. So if you are doing drop shipping and you're paying and you're doing e-packet, let's say it's, I don't know, whether it's free, sometimes it's $2-3. I'd say, well, first off, go with the e-packet shipping. That's your go-to if you're going to be doing drop shipping through AliExpress, because the other ones are just going to cut into your margins too heavily. And the e-packet usually does take, it's usually over under between 2 weeks to get to the customer. And a lot of people say, well, if my product is taking that long to get to my customer, do you think it's bad for my sales? And I say absolutely not. The only thing that you have to do is be straightforward with your customer and tell them it's going to take X amount of days to arrive, so they don't get antsy and don't feel like they're getting scammed or paid for a product that's really never going to arrive. So make sure you're just straightforward with the customer. If it's something they truly want and they're passionate about, they're going to wait 1 to 2 weeks, because if they're going to wait 5 days, waiting 7 to 10 really isn't going to make that much of a difference. Do you shout out to someone selling the same kinds of products? From Elizabeth. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're inside of a certain industry, there are so many competitors, and intertwining your audiences and sharing audiences, there's really no true loser there, because it's a win-win situation for everyone. Everyone's building their brands and building their audiences greater, and really just sharing their audiences and then getting them to click through their stores. As long as you're delivering a solid product and you have faith in what you're doing, there's definitely no reason to be afraid of doing a shout out for someone in the same industry if you're going to do a shout out for shout out. That's why I think you should just have faith in whatever you're selling. And if you feel like you're selling a lackluster product, maybe that's time to go back to square one and reconsider. But if you know that you have a good product and something that you could deliver properly, I think that shout outs for shout outs are definitely a great way to start building up for no charge, really, because everybody wins and there's really no charge at all. Gail, an example of how specific to be with the use of hashtags. You could really be as specific as you want in looking for that. So, I mean, if anyone wants to give me something to look into, let me just go to Instagram again. I have that page up. So, I mean, it really depends on your niche and what you're selling on your store. And if you want to like just do that background secondary research, you could dive in as far as you want. The posts are going to be limitless. You'll see exactly how many posts there are under each hashtag. So you're going to see which ones are more popular, more so than others. So if you do want to hit a broader audience, definitely go for the bigger ones. But don't be shy to throw anywhere from 5 to 15 hashtags on the caption of the picture that you have. So definitely don't be afraid to just keep diving into the hashtags. Just don't be afraid to search. It's really just a little bit of time to include. Michelle, 15 seconds for the video. Love the app. Yeah, it's awesome. 15 seconds is fine because I think you can go over that, but the thing is that you're only going to have someone's attention for so long. So you want to be straight to the point. You want to catch their attention and let them know like what you have on the table. Because if you're taking too long to get the point across, I guarantee that people are just going to keep scrolling, which I don't think is ideal. Barbara, do you have to have a working store first to start on Instagram? I'm still working on my store. No, you don't. Definitely, if you're still working on your store, don't be shy to start getting your Instagram account rolling by putting out content and running Instagram so you can get some organic traffic. Build that following. I mean, you don't have to be selling and pitching to these people right away. Just start out with some content and get it rolling. The sooner you do start the Instagram account, the sooner you're going to start building that following. Quick ads also taught in e-commerce. All right. Let's see what other questions you have. Do you have a virtual assistant to help with the IG? Hiring a virtual assistant, there's definitely no problem to do that. If you are off the ground and you are spending more time on your store itself, fulfilling orders, marketing, so on and so forth, definitely break into your budget to hire a VA if you feel it's necessary, because they could just completely run your social media account if you'd like, but obviously you don't want it to cut into your margins too well. But if you're doing very well, many people hire a VA. There's nothing wrong with hiring a VA. What's the best free plus shipping price to get massive sales from Walter? Honestly, I think anywhere from $4.95 to $9.95 is good. Over that, you're kind of pushing the envelope a bit on free plus shipping. Might like turn some people off if you're over $9.95. But anywhere from $4.95 to $9.95 is definitely going to be your sweet spot, because you're not going to be losing money most likely, because when you are doing the free plus shipping campaigns, you're not going to want to use a super expensive product. So you're going to want to use a product that's going to cost you just a couple of bucks, maybe $3-4 tops, and then you could pocket $1 or $2, and also a lead, which is super effective. Which is the best tool to grow our followers, Social Wave or Instagram? I personally like Instagram. I think Instagram is great. I've personally not used Social Wave. I stuck to Instagram and it's worked very well for me. Nicole Harrell asking again, my question is getting lost in this stuff. Worldwide shipping. Is it a must to hit the bigger numbers? I mean, worldwide shipping is definitely something that you don't want to cross out and ignore, because don't want to like veer away from a certain audience that you could be selling to at any time. Worldwide shipping is good so long as it's not going to break too heavily into your margins. You want to make sure exactly what you're going to be paying for that there, because you don't want to be overpaying for shipping just to cater to certain people. Should we put hashtags with the post or in the first comment? Either or, Edgar. I think as long as you have the hashtags in there, you'll be good. Just try to get it in there right after you post it, because then it's going to show up in the most recent post. So let's say someone just clicked on the hashtag cats, for example, and you did a post with hashtag cats. You want to have your comment right there, so that since your post is brand new, so let's say you posted it a minute ago, it's more likely going to be up towards a recent post when someone does click through that hashtag. You got it, Michelle, no problem. Elizabeth, can you be a little bit more specific on that question that you had there? I'd like to help you out there. Where do we find your video on social media content? Social media content. Rob, under the IMA Weekly tab, that is where we're going to have the creating content for social media. So if you are inside of the members area of IMA, you're going to go to IMA Weekly, and then after that, you're going to click through to the creating and finding social media content video. Gail, do you prefer Instagram over Facebook ads? Which has been the most profitable for you? I think both are great, and utilizing both is great because you do not want to ignore a source of traffic. Both are super effective. Right now, I absolutely love Instagram ads, hence why I made this course and was able to put it out with Dan. And I think that Instagram ads are definitely on the up and up because it's a lot more seamless. People are getting used to seeing the sponsored tag on Facebook and just kind of scrolling past it. So it's kind of winding down, but like it's still very, very effective. Something I wouldn't ignore. Facebook ads are still raking in huge numbers for people. But if you are just starting out in e-commerce, I think definitely use both. Don't ignore Facebook. It's definitely a good source of traffic, but also influencers are super, super effective. Dan, do you have any last words as we're winding down here? Dan, you there? I think Dan was had to log off because he has another call at noon. All right, so if anyone has any further questions, just feel free to. Oh, there's Dan.
Here I am. Doug's the videographer, my videographer. So we have stuff to shoot today. So he's here right now. So yeah, guys. Any other questions? Hey, Doug. Any other questions anybody has? Now is the time to ask them. Here I am. So yeah, what I'm going to be doing is, Anthony, go ahead and just kind of, if anybody else has any other questions, take care of it. And yeah, guys, just tag me if you have anything in the Facebook group. I'm going to go ahead and record now. So thanks for coming out and attending today. Look out for the second workshop as well. We have more workshops coming. And yeah, so I hope everybody enjoyed my little 15, 20 minutes on this workshop. So again, guys, any questions you have, Anthony's here. He will go ahead and keep running with the question and answer. I'll be in the background letting this record, and I just have to go shoot some videos right now. So I'll catch you guys pretty soon. See you, Anthony.
See you, Dan. All right. Sure thing, David. We'll definitely be working on your store. So shoot me a message. I want to know how the new niche is working for you. All right, so I think we're winding down here. So I want to thank you guys for all attending right now. I know a lot of people are busy, especially from 11 to 12 on a Thursday. So if you want to rewatch this video, it's going to be inside of the IMA Weekly. I'm going to be uploading it there. So if you want to rewatch and take in any of the content that we went over, just check over whatever we went over. That's going to be available for you whenever you'd like to watch it. So other than that, I just want to say thanks to everyone for coming out, and be sure to message me on Facebook, posting the IMA Facebook Mastermind, and we'll attend to your questions in a timely manner for sure. All right, everybody, take care.